Okay, gentlemen, I'll tell you a story. The evening air hung heavy over Jeffrey's club in Lavington. The faint smell of grass and old sweat clung to the running track. The floodlights buzzed softly, casting long shadows across the pitch where Mike and I walked in slow, measured circles. Mike was a large man, 6'2", shoulders still broad from his mean machine rugby days, but softened now by time and heartbreak. His grey t-shirt clung to his back, soaked through with sweat. His gait was heavy, a slow waddle, like a bear carrying too much grief. Each step seemed to cost him something. He wiped his brow with a trembling hand, his voice hoarse from both exertion and emotion. "Bro," he began. "She left. She took the kids. She said she wanted to be happy," Mike said. He forced a small laugh, brittle but hollow. Beneath his eyes, the puffed bags of sleepless nights told a deeper story. This wasn't just a man losing his wife. This was a man losing himself. Mike's wife of 9 years had moved out with their 3 children. He later found out that she was seeing a younger man, someone from her office, a broke 20-something whose promises were richer than his pockets. Mike, in his pain, had gone to see where his children lived, and it was a bare apartment in Langata. Disgusted, he furnished it himself. He put out 500,000 shillings for the furniture, and then, because he couldn't stand the idea of his kids walking, he bought her a car, a small Paso. Then he serviced it religiously. I stared at Mike, dumbfounded. He looked away, embarrassed. "That's the mother of my kids, man," he said, as if explaining why he was crucifying himself on the altar of misplaced loyalty. But his eyes, those shattered marbles, they betrayed something else. They betrayed desperation, and it was a man begging for crumbs of affection out of a woman who had already emotionally checked out. And then he said it. "She still calls to yell at me. She says I should get her a better car, or she will file for divorce," Mike said. He laughed bitterly, spreading his massive arms as if to say, "Can you believe this?" So, gentlemen, let's pause there. This right here is what Robert Glover warned about in No More Mr. Nice Guy. The conditioned man who believes that love must be earned through servitude. Is a man who mistakes generosity for leadership and compliance for virtue. Mike's tragedy is not unique. It's a story of millions of men who are raised under the illusion that masculinity means providing without boundaries. He was taught, like most of us, that respect is reciprocal, that if you treat people well, they'll treat you the same way. But we know that men love idealistically and women love opportunistically. So that is biology, it's not an insult. Female attraction is based on respect, not pity. A woman doesn't love you for what you give her. She loves you for what you are. And Mike, he had stopped being. He'd become a servant of his own guilt. In Myth of Male Power, Warren Farrell remarks that men are conditioned to measure their worth by how much they sacrifice, even when those sacrifices are never returned. Society praises the man who bleeds quietly and shames the one who dares to say no. Mike was bleeding spiritually, emotionally, financially, and hoping that his wounds would buy him back a woman's affection. But here's the truth, gentlemen. You cannot negotiate desire. No amount of kindness, money, or endurance can resurrect attraction that has died. In fact, the more you try, the deeper you dig your own grave. Because every act of supplication tells her that you are above me. By supplicating to her, you are treating her like a god. People supplicate only to higher beings. And women do not desire the men that they pity. When I asked Mike when he last slept with his wife, he hesitated first. Then he said, 15 months ago. He answered this quietly and softly. And then he said, it was what do you call it? Dead fish? Then I told him, starfish sex. Then he said, yes, that starfish. I hope you guys all know what starfish sex is. So it's a massive performance where a woman is not interested in engaging in the sex. She lies there comatose like a starfish. It's the death rattle of desire. So, gentlemen, you have to remember that women don't respect men who don't respect themselves. They respect strength, boundaries, and indifference to manipulation. They respect a man who walks away rather than begs. Mike was worshipping a false god. The myth that love is earned through suffering, but love, when it must be begged for, gentlemen, is no longer love. You do not owe a woman anything. You don't owe her time, your money, or your devotion when she withholds respect. You owe yourself honor. You owe yourself peace. Mike thought that desire could be negotiated with acts of kindness, generosity, and steadfastness. When you're a beta, women don't care how generous you are. Your continued simping just makes her verge dry up even, it makes her verge dry up even further. Remember, nothing annoys a woman like the realization that she banged a beta male. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it. When you subscribe, you'll always be notified when I drop new content. Also, when you like and share, you help this channel to grow, and more importantly, you help other men to discover the tools that they need to level up. So remember, when one man rises, we all rise. Now let's get back to the video. Worse still, Mike is a kind of man who believes he owes women. He feels that because a woman is his wife, he is obligated to provide for her, even if she does not respect him, does not submit to him, and refuses to be intimate with him. On the other hand, she feels entitled to the proceeds of Mike's hard work. She does not appreciate the sacrifices he makes and perpetuates this exploitative relationship because she knows that Mike has no replacement for her. Gentlemen, you do not owe these kinds of women anything, whether they are wives or not. Anyone who does not appreciate your sacrifices, the sacrifice that you are making, should not enjoy those sacrifices. Period. You are not a slave. Anyone who does not appreciate your commitment and loyalty does not deserve that commitment and loyalty. You do not owe provisioning and protection to a woman who does not feel they should respect you for being their husband and playing your role. Many men are in exploitative relationships where their sacrifices are not appreciated and where they are not respected. Yet, they still work hard and do multiple things for their ungrateful partners. This stupidity is normally fueled by pussy begging, what Andrew Kibe calls lambistic, and feminine correct way of looking at relationships. The feminine imperative is the one that treats women as victims and never seeks to hold them accountable. So you met this woman as an adult, both of you are adults. You don't owe her anything where there is no reciprocity. Don't be a slave for pussy. Be your own mental point of origin, and you need to honor yourself. Remember, if you treat a woman like a celebrity, she will treat you like a fan. And that gentleman is what Mike had become. He was a fan of a woman who no longer played for his team. So the truth that I told Mike is that you don't owe women anything, not your money, not your loyalty, not your silence, not your suffering. Respect must be earned. Love must be mutual. And a man's resources are sacred, to be shared, not to be squandered. Women respect men who respect themselves. Respecting yourself means putting yourself first, having non-negotiables, and not taking any shit. Mike here was seeking redemption from his woman. He was applicating to her and essentially offering her things the way a worshipper sacrifices to their God to gain favor. Mike had abandoned himself and was operating from scarcity and blue pill beliefs. So, gentlemen, you need to treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. If you wouldn't let your brother be abused, why would you allow it for yourself? So, gentlemen, honor yourselves. Be your own mental point of origin. Stop offering your energy to those who drain you. Stop financing your own disrespect. If she does not value your sacrifices, walk away. If she does not reciprocate your respect, withdraw it. If she doesn't desire you, stop performing for her approval. Because nothing kills a man faster than the illusion that his love can resurrect a woman's respect. So, gentlemen, reflect on this. Have you ever found yourself in Mike's shoes, giving, hoping, begging for what should have been freely returned? Have you ever realized too late that you are financing your own heartbreak? Share your experiences in the comment section below. Let's talk man to man. Because the moment you stop owing women, you start owning yourself. So honor yourself always. Iron sharpens iron. And I'll see you on the next one.